So today we're going to show you how to register an event with JumboLife. First, we're going to head over to jumbolife.tufts.edu. You're going to make sure that you log in to access the form. You'll be able to go to Forms at the top and select Event Registration. Similar to the organization registration form, it's really important that you select your correct category under the Start Here section. So a few things to note, there are a couple different options depending on which population you're serving. So for student organizations, you always want to select student organization event or student organization or university department meeting. If you're submitting a GIM or regular board remember meetings, you always want to select meeting because that's going to hide all the additional questions about resources and things that you don't need to answer. However, we're going to go through event registration at this point. So you'll select Student Organization Event. If you've already made your reservation in Reserve Tufts, you can enter your confirmation number and that'll just make it easier for us to find that reservation and approve the reservation in the system. Once we receive your registration form, we ask that you review the COVID-19 guidelines and acknowledge that you have read and will follow those. You'll be able to enter your event name, select your host, and for student organizations, you'll only be able to select the organization that you are a part of. So for most members, when you click this, it's only going to show one or two organizations that you are a member of. Because this account is a campus admin, it's going to show you all of the organizations that they could choose from. For enter in your event description, so again, this event description will show on the public event page, so you can add as much detail here as you want. It's a rich text editor, so you can add in bullet points, adjust the headings, make bold, italics, underline. You can even toggle to HTML coding to add in buttons or tables to fully customize your event page. If tickets are required, it's going to ask you about your ticket information. This information will also show on your event page. Here's where you enter in your date, time, and location. And then you can add in tags. So event tags are a really great way for you to promote your organization. We've included a ton of different tags here for you to be able to add to your event so that students can go to the events calendar and search specific topics. So if I'm someone who's looking for free food, any events that have the free food event tag will show up. Basically, think of these as hashtags for the event calendar. You'll update your cover image. Again, it's really important that this is size 960 by 370 and that you think of this similar to your event Facebook cover photo. So you should not have any text or logos within the cover photo, and it certainly should not be an event poster. When you click on the event title will show on the photo and you'll want to make sure that it is as clear as possible. Next, you're going to select your attendance options. So there's a few options here that we really want to point out. Specifically for your attendance options, you have a few options here to hide from non-members, allow only members to check in, or allow non-students to check in. So if you're submitting an event that you only want to show for your organization members, you'd click this so that only your organization members will be able to see the events in the event calendar. If you're allowing only members to check in at an event, you can select that option here, and that will allow you to only add members as attendees to your event. So for example, if you're hosting an event where it's a recruitment activity, you want to be able to promote it to the full community but only allow members to participate, you'd want to select that box, but still keep this unchecked so that it's on the public event calendar. And the last option, which we will not be using very often, is allow non-student check-in. So for events that are open to the general public, you can allow their check-in and you wouldn't be able to scan them in, but you could certainly add a contact name and email to your attendees list. Under your audience, similarly, you're going to select who you're promoting your event to and who you expect to attend. For most events, it's just going to be Tufts students with a Tufts ID. You might also allow them to bring a guest with them, or if it's a showcase, for example, you might have it open to the general public and encourage parents or family members to attend. Don't forget to enter in your expected event attendance. The next section is your contact information. So this is information for us to have on file to be able to get in touch with the event host, and it will also populate the contact button on the page. Your contact information will never be shown on your public event profile, but if anyone clicks that contact button, it'll send an email to the contact email. So that should be whoever has the most information about your event and is the main point of contact. Next, you'll select your student organization resources that you'll need. So there's a variety of resources here that you can choose from. For the demo, I'm going to select all of them just so you can see exactly what would be required of you. You're also asked to answer 2 quick questions. Do you plan to serve food at your event? We'll say yes. And do you plan to show a film or TV show during your event? I'm going to select yes on both of these just to show you what happens. So because we said yes to food, it's going to ask us to review the policy on serving food at events and then ask us to select our specific food type. So for example, if you select an outside caterer, it's just going to ask you to submit the quick details about which caterer you're going to have on campus. It's also going to ask you to acknowledge the following, so you'll have adequate options and labels for individuals with dietary needs. You will not prepare or serve homemade food. You'll order only from a licensed and insured caterer or restaurant. And lastly, you'll work with the Campus Life financial office in advance to place any food orders. Because I said yes to the film screening, it's going to ask me about the movie title and where I plan to acquire the rights. You can review more information on the film guidelines on our website, but it's important to note that you must require rights for any screening that you have on campus. The Tisch Library also has access to some public domain screenings, so you're able to select those options as well, and then you need to acknowledge the film's policy. Next, because I selected facility services are needed, we have the option to submit a detailed request about what exactly we'll need. So you can put in here any information or any of the items that you want. These are just common examples. If there are additional needs that you have, you can certainly enter them there. You'll also have the option to just have the equipment dropped off and allow your members to set up the items yourselves. It's really important to remember that when you select this option, you're also required to break down and return all of the equipment to wherever you asked for it to be dropped off. So if you select that, it's going to ask you where would you like the equipment left, or if you want them to set up all of your equipment for you, you'll be asked to download a diagram from our sample diagrams, make your adjustments as needed, and then upload that diagram here. That will be provided to facilities so that they can set it up exactly how you want. And then lastly, for the facilities request, you need to enter in your date and time of when you need the equipment delivery to occur or the setup to be completed. AV equipment, because we selected we need additional AV equipment, we have information on how you can submit those requests online yourselves. Because we asked for a TUPD detail, it's going to ask us to submit the details of what exactly we need for the TUPD officers. Same thing for a TEMS detail, which is not very common, but still here just in case you need it. Next, we have Campus Life event staff, which can be used for things like bus loading, checking tickets or IDs at the door, or managing large-scale events and crowds. They're also required for events in certain spaces. So you'll be asked to enter in the details of what exactly you'll need your event staff to do. This is a good time for you as well to enter in what time you might want people to arrive and how long you think they'll need to stay afterwards. If you selected that you need Tufts tickets, this will walk you through the full Tufts tickets request form. They're the same questions from previously, but it's now embedded in this option. So you can put in your number of tickets, how many tickets per person, where you want the tickets to be on sale. You can add a thumbnail image for the Tufts Tickets website where you can select user types you want, so undergraduate students, undergraduate seniors, graduate students, all of the above. You can then allow students to purchase guest tickets, and if yes, how many. You can also ask for batch printing, and if you do need batch printing, how many tickets and when do you need it by. You can add additional information to be printed on your ticket. You can add additional text that will be included in the automated confirmation email after students purchase their ticket. And if you have any specific additional requests, you can always enter those here for review from the ticket office. The last section, and based on what we selected above, is the live social media photo and video coverage through our student-run social media systems for the Office for Campus Life. So you're able to select what type of services you want and add in as much detail as you can. So if you select these different questions, it's going to ask you to provide additional information about what you're looking to accomplish. You can enter in all of your social media information as well as any relevant hashtags that you might have for them to use. Because some of the services we requested have a fee, such as Tufts tickets or facilities, it's also going to ask us to enter in our DEPT ID and then sign off to agree to those charges. For all organizations, we also require that you acknowledge the posting policy, and you also acknowledge that you may be asked to attend an event registration meeting to talk through and confirm the details of your event. Once all your information is submitted, you'll scroll back up to the top and hit Submit for approval. This will go over to the Office for Campus Life to be reviewed and approved. Once it's approved, you'll get any notification and it will populate within the Events tab.